Hello and welcome back to the Nash Metal Production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to another album review. Now, since of course, we're nearing the end of 2019, I'm gonna pretty much make it my goal that this week I get out at least plenty of album reviews, and starting with this one is at least the first of one. Just finally got in one of the last albums also for reviewing and all that. So, without further ado, let's get into the album that I'm definitely gonna be taking a look at. That, of course, is the newest album from, of course, a British hard rock heavy metal band Asomvel, with their third album titled World Shaker, which of course was released. Let's go to Metal Archives over here so I can get the release date. May 3rd, 2019, so it was definitely plenty of months ago, and around that time I was planning on getting it around that time or ordering it, but I just never did. But thankfully, when going down to Fresno back in October, or just on that last day of October before leaving, popped in the Rasputin, and there it is. There's a copy of World Shaker, and so I took the plunge and bought it, and so here it is. Here we are, finally talking about this album. Now, I am definitely had been familiar with Asomvel, which, of course, the first time I ever seen any of their albums was actually back in, was it 2013? Yeah, 2013. It was Knuckle Duster, which was their second full-length album, and every time I always would pop in a Rasputin, it's always there. But because of the price they wanted for it, and even though the whole artwork and everything was very convincing, just real had that sort of early 80s, late 70s feel to it, with basically that almost, it just had a real cool image, and of course it was an image of the main guy in this band, which is Lenny Robinson, the guitar player, who of course has been the pretty much the most consistent member basically since their formation, which I'll get to here before I really get in and just dive into the album, which really shouldn't take that long to really dive into, but still. Just his picture there and everything, it was just had a real cool the way it looked and the way it just had that. Right now I'm just can't come up with really good analogy, good acronyms or anything to really just describe the image and everything. It just was just cool, and it had that real nice late 70s, early 80s feel to it. It looked like some long lost new wave of British heavy metal release. Just was great, real cool, but. Still, that was our second album. Their very first full-length album was released back in 2009, which was titled Kamikaze, which was released through, was it the Miskatonic Foundation? I think that's from what I can see from here. But still, don't know when... I think I can probably find it on Discogs, but still, anyways, at some point I'll probably obtain that, and of course, Knuckle Duster. But here we are. But before I really, like I said, before I really dive in, I also should definitely get into the formation of the band, which I definitely kind of briefly mentioned. The band Asomvel, of course, were formed in 1993 and are based out of Harrogate, England. But yeah, 1993. So this band really isn't, well, or at least the main guy here, Lenny Robinson, has been kicking it since 1993, and I think what one of the main reasons probably what put Asomvel on hold was because of Lenny Robinson had another band around that same time called Solstice. No, not to be confused with the death metal band from the late 80s, early 90s, but Solstice were the epic heavy doom metal band, and again that band has been around since around the same formation as Asomvel, 1993, and Solstice first album came out in 1994. So and that band had been releasing quite a bit of albums, but at some point he was Lenny Robinson and of course the other founder J.J. Winter finally put Asomvel back together. And so it was basically in 2002 when that happened, releasing 2 demos, and of course an EP. And then finally a full-length album in 2009. Before then, after that, the sad passing, of course, J.J. Winter. And so that definitely might have hindered a bit of the momentum of Asomvel, but they were able to find somebody to replace that throne, and that's of course is bass, vocal, guitar player Conan, aka Robert Thurplet. What is this? Thurpleton, I think is this, something like that. I think that I might have just butchered that last name, but that who they did, and it only lasted for a knuckle duster, and after that, they're quickly. I think he left the band. I don't know what was the whole deal, but he quickly left, and then they finally found their third replacement. As of course is none other than Ralph Robinson. Who, of course, is actually the son of Lenny Robinson, according to Metal Archive. So that's real cool. So father and son, it definitely now makes almost a family band now. Still, and of course, that be him right there. Of course, very much looking pretty much like I showed in my, one of my, the collection update video. Definitely looking pretty much like the splitting image of Lemmy Kilmister circa 1979. Real cool, real badass. And of course, the vocal style here, very Lemmy-like. So it's finally just to get into this album. Where can I start? This is just a fucking killer album. There's just nothing bad on this album. I mean, from the opening fucking steamrolling track that of course is the title track, it completely just pounds right through you, and pretty much just leaving you fucking squashed, basically, steamrolled. And then right from there to, of course, tracks like True Believer and Payback's a Bitch, you're just completely being obliterated by the overall assault that Asomvel is just unleashing upon you. And so by the time you get to the very last song, The Nightmare Ain't Over, you literally are just wanting more and more. It's just that good of an album. So I can go into song and song, track by track on the sound. I can just go from track to track. But, I mean, I could probably just, again, even bring up some of my favorite songs off the sound. I mean, Running the Gauntlet, Reap the Whirlwind, The Law is the Law, Steamroller, Every Dog Has Its Day, Railroaded, Smokescreen, which, of course, not to be confused with the Ted Nugent track of the same name, which, of course, Smokescreen is very much has that classic new wave of British heavy metal style riffing and gusto and stuff to it. It's a great track, and of course the last track, The Nightmare Ain't Over. I mean, there's just enough gruff and growl on the sound to basically leave you pretty much just leaving you wanting more for it, just leaving you, it's just great. So I mean, I don't know, I can almost go long talking about this album, but it's just just a great album. For those, of course, who are looking for the scratch that Motorhead itch, since, of course, Motorhead are no longer a band, and for those that are looking for bands that have that kind of sound and stuff, this is a perfect band for you to go at, the search for. This is perfect. This is, I would say, is enough to satisfy that itch. They're looking for stuff that's in that Motorhead vein, because there's just plenty on here. I mean, of course, there's plenty. I can draw comparisons to Tank, even Vardis. I mean, the song Smokescreen has that sort of same type of Vardis attitude to it. And swag and swing to it. It's just great. There's just nothing bad on this album. So there's just nothing. Everything, every sort of riff and stuff has even a hook to it. It's just great stuff, and just fantastic. There's really nothing bad on this album. So with that, since of course we're nearing almost 10 minutes in this video, let's definitely just get to the score, which I'm just gonna go along and just give it a fucking straight up 10 out of 10. It's just that solid of an album. I really can't see me getting bored of this album. I mean, whenever I will throw this one on, I'm not gonna get tired listening to it. It's just that great of an album. It's pretty much, well, like the song, one of the song here, Steamroller. It's a fucking steamroller of an album. It literally has the sound of a fucking Panzer tank. I know I just use that kind of reference, but it's just has that kind of vibe to it. The way it leaves you after this album. I mean, even can go on to even use some of the word references in the song "Reap the Whirlwind." I mean, that's the kind of stuff that the sort of what it leaves you with. What you're left, you're just literally left on the floor, basically almost gasping for air after just being assaulted by this album. It's just that fucking good. So with that, I definitely can't recommend this enough. It's just a fucking great album. So with that, I hope all enjoyed. So this is Every Thrash at Sam out. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.